All right, thanks, guys. Welcome to the show. And as always, if you want to save yourself some time here today, please feel free to skip ahead to my quick pick recap at the end of the video. It's all of today's NBA picks for this video broken down in just about 30 seconds. It's super convenient. It'll save you a ton of time, and there's actually a link in the comments section below that'll take you right to it. But if you want to stick around and hang out with me for about, I don't know, I'd probably say about 15 minutes or so here today on the video. That's my guess. That's my over-under. I'm going to say 15 minutes, 30 seconds. But anyway, if you want to stick around for the video, we got ourselves a pretty good slate of NBA action here today. So let's go ahead and dive into it. I'm talking about the Rockets squaring off against the Hornets, 7 p.m. Eastern start time in Charlotte. The Houston Rockets are minus 2.5 on the road here. Numbers 221, juice to the over. And if you like the Hornets in an upset win on their home court, they're plus $1.30 on the money line. We're 3-1 in our last 4 crowd pleaser teasers on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also 6-3 in our last 9 picks in that same category. And the good news is this, folks. We have ourselves another crowd pleaser teaser going off this evening. We currently have a community of over 1,175 paid members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Hornets are just 6-7 straight up at the Spectrum Center this season. They rank in the bottom 10 in offensive field goal percentage. Now, the Hornets are scoring just 109 points a game on their home court, and Devontae Graham is also listed as questionable, according to several reports. Now, they're taking on a Houston team who won 7 out of their last 9 themselves, and they also covered the number in nearly 70% of those contests. Houston's in the top 5 in defending the 3-ball, and they're also giving up just 108 points a game. Victor Oladipo scoring nearly 20 points a night for the Rockets, 5 rebounds, 5 assists for the longtime Pacer. Meanwhile, John Wall scoring 19 a night himself, 4 rebounds and 6 assists for the point guard. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, Charlotte saw 4 out of their last 5 ball games get over the posted number, 70% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the Houston Rockets minus 2.5 and the over 221. And before we go ahead and move on here, guys, if you're new to the channel here today, I just want to take another quick time out and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for Monday's NBA action. Happy Monday to you. Hopefully you guys had an outstanding weekend. Now, before we go ahead and move into some more free content right here on YouTube, I just have to quickly remind you once again that we are 3-1 in our last 4 crowd pleaser teasers on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also 6-3 in our last 9 crowd pleaser teasers in that same category. And the good news is we have another crowd pleaser teaser pick going off today on that Patreon site. Now, just remember here, guys, when you sign up for a membership on Patreon, you're going to get access to all the lesser expensive memberships absolutely free. Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. And for those who are wondering what the difference is between my free picks here on YouTube and my Patreon site, well, what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you as I break down the daily card and focus in on just 4 to 5 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays, games that I personally have action on, and I'll tell you this much, I'm having a lot more success wagering on games that way in smaller sample sizes versus betting on every single game that's on the slate, side and total, like I do here with my free leans on YouTube. That's certainly no way to make money. It's not a winning formula for success to bet on every single game that's on the card. But regardless, guys, we currently have a community of over 1,175 paid members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. With that said, guys, we got to move. Got a lot of good content to get through here today, so let's go ahead and move on. Raptors, Grizzlies, 8 p.m. Eastern start time in Memphis. The Raptors are -2 on the road, numbers 224.5. Toronto won 3 out of their last 4 ball games, top 10 in the NBA in shooting the 3-ball on the road. They're also averaging 116 points a game when they travel. Freddie Van Fleet is scoring over 20 points a game, along with 4 rebounds and 6 assists. The starting guard is also recording 2 steals a game as well. Meanwhile, Pascal Siakam's averaging 20 a night himself, along with 8 boards and over 4.5 assists a game as well. Toronto's in the top 3 in first quarter scoring on the road. They're taking on a Memphis Grizzlies team who's still going to work without Justice Winslow and Jaren Jackson. Meanwhile, Melton, Clark, and Tilly are all out today as well. So they got some stars and some role players not in action here tonight. The Grizzlies are on a 3-game losing streak, and they dropped 6 of 9 on their home court this year. In addition to covering just 33% of their contests at the FedEx Forum, the Grizzlies are in the bottom 3 in three-point shooting at home, and they also average just 104 points a game there. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the scoring in this one, Memphis' last 2 straight both stayed under the number. They've also gone 7-2 to the under at the FedEx Forum. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Toronto saw 7 out of their last 10 meetings with the Grizzlies stay under the line as well. I'm going to lean toward the Toronto Raptors -2 and the under 224.5. All right, next contest I have for you. It is going to be Wizards versus the Bulls, 8 p.m. East. The Bulls are -2.5 on their home court. Totals 236 flat. Now, Chicago is coming fresh off a 26-point drubbing of Orlando in their last outing. They held the Magic to just 92 points in that affair. The Bulls are in the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage, and they also average nearly 116 points a game. Now, Lauri Markkanen is listed as questionable for Chicago. That could potentially be problematic. Having said that, though, Zach LaVine's dropping 27 points a night along with 5 boards and 5 assists. Meanwhile, Kobe White's also scoring 15 a game himself, along with 4 boards and 5.5 assists. And much to my surprise, the Bulls are actually in the top 10 defensively in home defensive rebounding. Now, they're taking on a Washington Wizards team who's on a 2-game losing streak themselves, and they also dropped 7 out of their last 9. Now, the Wizards are also just 2-7 against the spread in their last 9 as well, and they may have to go to work tonight without Russell Westbrook. He's been listed as questionable. Washington is last in points allowed, bottom 3 in offensive field goal percentage. The Wizards are letting their opponents make nearly 41% of their 3 balls when they travel as well. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the number in this one, Washington's last 3 straight all stayed under the number. They also went 6-3 to the under in their last 9. Meanwhile, 5 out of Chicago's last 7 stayed under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Chicago Bulls -2.5 and the under 236. All right, next contest, we're going to take a look at the Timberwolves squaring off against the Mavericks, 8:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off in Dallas. Now, the Mavs are the 10-point favorite at home. Huge number here. Numbers 224.5. But despite laying double digits in this spot here, the Mavericks have failed to cover the point spread in 8 out of their last 9 contests. They're just 2-7 straight up in that span. The Mavs are dead last in the NBA in 3-point percentage, and they also rank dead last in defensive field goal percentage at home. Dallas is covering just 20% of their home games, and they also lost 7 out of those 10 contests straight up. They're taking on a Minnesota squad who successfully covered the point spread in their last 5 straight themselves, and surprisingly, they rank in the top 10 defensively in third quarter points allowed. Malik Beasley scoring over 20 points a game along with 5 boards and a couple assists. Meanwhile, Anthony Edwards is also scoring nearly 14 a night himself, along with 3 boards, and Edwards is also averaging a couple assists a night as well. Real quick, keep an eye on D'Angelo Russell. He's a little bit banged up right now. He's been listed as questionable tonight with a quad injury. He's been struggling with that quad over the past couple of days or so. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the scoring in this one, Minnesota's most recent contest with OKC flew nearly 20 points above the posted number for that game. Meanwhile, Dallas saw their last 3 straight get over the line themselves, 70% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Minnesota Timberwolves +10 and the over 224.5. All right, next contest, it is going to be Warriors versus the Spurs, 8:30 p.m. East. The San Antonio Spurs are the 1.5-point favorite at home. Totals 234, juice to the under. And if you like the Warriors and a slight upset on the road here, They're plus $1.10 for some money line cash. Golden State is 2-0 against the number in their last couple of games, 5-2 ATS in their last 7. The Warriors are in the top 10 in the NBA in scoring, and they also rank in the top 3 in defensive field goal percentage. Steph Curry scoring nearly 30 points a game, along with 5 rebounds and 6 assists. Meanwhile, Andrew Wiggins is scoring almost 18 a night himself, along with over 4.5 rebounds and a couple of steals as well. Now we're looking at a Golden State Warrior team who's averaging 115 points a game. Kind of quiet, but these guys have been able to score this year. Not a lot of folks talking about their ability to put up points, but once again, Warriors averaging 115 points a game. Now they are taking on a Spurs team who's failed to cover the number in 3 out of their last 4. San Antonio is in the bottom 3 in defensive rebounding, and they're letting their opponents make 42% of their three-pointers at the AT&T Center. LaMarcus Aldridge and Lonnie Walker are both still out, and when it comes to the total in this one, San Antonio's last 2 straight stayed under the line, 4-3 to the under in their last 7. Meanwhile, Golden State saw 3 out of their last 5 stay under the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Golden State Warriors plus 1.5 and the under 234. All right, next contest, it is going to be Cavaliers versus the Suns, 9 p.m. Eastern start time. The Phoenix Suns are minus 6.5, totals 215 juice to the under. Phoenix is on a 2-game winning streak, 5-1 straight up in their last 6. The Suns are in the top 3 in points allowed at home, top 3 in home defensive field goal percentage as well. Phoenix is holding their opponents to just 33% shooting from beyond the arc on their home court. Devin Booker is scoring nearly 23 points per contest, 3.5 boards and 4 assists for the shooting guard. Meanwhile, Chris Paul is averaging 16 a game himself, along with 4 boards and 8 assists as well. Now they're taking on a Cleveland squad who's on a 3-game losing streak, and they also dropped 7 out of their last 9. In addition to all those losses, the Cavaliers have failed to cover the point spread in their last 6 straight outings. Now, Nance, Love, and Dellavedova are all still out for Cleveland. The Cavs are winning just 30% of their ball games on the road, and they also rank dead last in road offensive field goal percentage. Cleveland scoring just 97 points per contest when they travel. And when it comes to the total on this one, Cleveland's last 6 straight ball games all stayed under the line, 8-2 to the under on the road. Meanwhile, the Suns saw 5 out of their last 7 stay under the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns, minus 6.5 in the under 215. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Bucks versus the Nuggets, 9:30 p.m. East. The Milwaukee Bucks are minus 3.5 away from home here. Total's 234. Saw a lot of movement upward on this total. Since I woke up very, very early this morning, I saw a 5-point move already on that total upward. Now, Milwaukee's on a 4-game winning streak, 6-2 against the number in their last 8. Milwaukee's in the top 3 in offensive rebounding, top 3 in offensive field goal percentage. The Bucks are averaging nearly 122 points a night, and they're making over 40% of their three-pointers. Giannis is averaging 27 a game, along with 11 boards and over 5.5 assists. Meanwhile, Chris Middleton scoring 20 points a night himself, along with 6 rebounds and over 5.5 assists as well. The Bucks are in the top 10 in defensive rebounding, along with ranking in the top 10 in defensive field goal percentage. Now they're taking on a Nuggets squad who's covering just 40% of their ball games at home. The Nuggets have also dropped 3 out of their last 4 contests, and they may have to go to work without Jamal Murray, who's having knee problems. He's Denver's second leading scorer behind Nikola Jokic. Now Harris and Dozier have also been listed as out for the Nuggets tonight as well. Denver is in the bottom 5 in defensive field goal percentage, and they give up almost 114 points a game at the Ball Arena. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Denver's last 4 did get over the posted number, 7-2 to the over in their last 9. Meanwhile, the Bucks saw 5 out of their last 7 get over the total themselves, throwing out their most recent outing. I'm going to lean toward the Milwaukee Bucks minus 3.5 and the over 234. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be OKC versus the Lakers, 10 p.m. Eastern tip-off at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. The Lakers are the 10.5-point favorite as the official home team here. Totals 217 juice to the over. Now, LA's failed to cover the point spread in 5 out of their last 7, and they're also just 40% against the number as the official home team. The Lakers are in the bottom 10 in free throw percentage offensively, and they also rank in the bottom 10 in first quarter points allowed at home defensively. And as always, we see this every night. LeBron and AD are both listed as questionable for this evening's contest. You see that every night on the injury report, so you really never know whether those guys are going to play or not. Now, the Lakers are taking on an OKC squad who's covered 5 out of their last 8 contests, and they also find themselves covering 73% of their road games. OKC's they're in the top 10 defensively in points allowed on the road. They're also in the top 3 in defending the 3-ball on the road as well. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scoring over 22 a night, along with 5.5 boards and 6 assists. Meanwhile, Al Horford's also scoring nearly 14 a game himself, along with 7 boards and 3 assists a night. OKC holds their opponents to just 32% shooting from beyond the arc, away from their home court. And when it comes to the total on this one, 3 out of OKC's last 5 got over the line, 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Lakers, on the other side of things, they are 60% to the over as the official home team themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog OKC Thunder plus 10.5 and the over 217. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, once again brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 3-1 in our last 4 crowd pleaser teasers on that site, 6-3 in our last 9 in that same category. Give me the Rockets minus 2.5 over 221, Raptors minus 2 under 224.5, Bulls minus 2.5 under 236, Timberwolves plus 10 over 224.5, Warriors plus 1.5 under 234, Suns minus 6.5 under 215, Bucks minus 3.5 over 234. Before I give you our next and final matchup for the show, one final reminder that you can access today's Crowd Pleaser teaser by clicking the notated link in the description section below. Please feel free to give this video a thumbs up right now if you enjoyed it. Please feel free to subscribe right now if you're new here today as well. I'm going to lean toward the OKC Thunder plus 10.5 and the over 217. And with that, guys, we're going to give some shout outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Gusto Auto, Text and Earn, Yang Chi Mama, King Jackson, Alan Francis Pablo, Michael Maresca, Jerome Howard, Mario Medina, Scott Kaler, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my man, Peanut the Real Nut. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up, and then the first of every month following that. Also keep in mind, if you get a package here today, all the cheaper memberships and all the content in those cheaper memberships are included with your purchase. So, for example, if you get the $9.99 package here today, the Crowd Pleaser teaser, all the cheaper memberships and the picks in those cheaper memberships are included with your purchase here today, and you're going to get access to all that content through the end of February. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.